They say aging begins in the joints. I say it begins in silence, the kind you feel not here. I'm Dr. Alexander Hartmann, and tonight I want to talk to you about something most men won't mention until it's too late. The prostate doesn't shout. It whispers through sleep that's not restful, through tension in your lower body, through subtle discomfort that builds slowly, night after night. But healing? That can start with something just as quiet, a small bedtime choice, a simple bowl, a better habit, no pills, no pressure, just a moment of nutrition that sends the right message to your body at exactly the right time. If you're new here, welcome. And if you find even one idea tonight helpful, go ahead and tap like and subscribe, because we're building a space here for men who want to age with strength, not struggle. Let me tell you something most men never hear at the clinic. You know, I've been practicing medicine for over 20 years, and there's a question I hear often, but only from men after they've started feeling discomfort. Doc, is there anything natural I can do to help my prostate at night? The answer is yes, and it starts not with a pill, but with a simple bedtime snack. Most men underestimate how much their prostate health is influenced by what they eat, especially in the evening. The hours when you're asleep are when your body heals most deeply. But healing can't happen if your digestive system is overwhelmed, your blood sugar is spiking, or your organs are inflamed. The prostate is a small gland, but it's extremely sensitive to metabolic stress. I often explain to patients that inflammation in the prostate isn't just about pain or pressure. It's about blood flow, fluid buildup, and hormonal interference. If you go to bed with the wrong food in your system, your pelvic region suffers silently overnight, night after night. It's like trying to sleep with a fire smoldering in your lower abdomen. But the good news is you can put that fire out with a simple, nourishing food combination. I'm not talking about exotic berries from the Himalayas or a $60 supplement. I'm talking about something you can find in almost any grocery store: plain yogurt, pumpkin seeds, and a drizzle of raw honey. I first stumbled onto this combination while reviewing research on how insulin resistance affects prostate inflammation. Turns out, keeping your insulin low before bed dramatically reduces swelling in the pelvic tissues. When insulin is high, your body retains more fluid and directs inflammation toward the weakest, most congested areas. And for many men over 50, that's the prostate. Once I started recommending this snack to my patients, I noticed something surprising. Not only did their nighttime urgency decline, but they also reported better sleep, less pressure when sitting, and even fewer mood swings. One patient, Mark, 63, said, "I didn't change anything else, just that snack. And I haven't woken up 3 times a night to pee since." So let's take a closer look at why this works, and what you should avoid before bed if you're serious about protecting your prostate. The snack combo: yogurt, pumpkin seeds, and honey. Let's start with yogurt. But not just any yogurt. You want plain, unsweetened, full-fat yogurt with live cultures. Why? Because it's packed with probiotics that help reduce systemic inflammation, particularly in the gut. And here's the connection. When your gut is inflamed, it sends distress signals throughout the body, including to your pelvic region. Studies have shown that men with healthier gut flora tend to have lower rates of prostate swelling and fewer urinary symptoms. The live cultures in yogurt, like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, help balance your microbiome and calm the immune system. Less inflammation in the gut means less collateral damage in places like your prostate. Now let's add pumpkin seeds. These are rich in zinc, a mineral your prostate absolutely needs to function. In fact, the prostate contains more zinc than any other organ in the male body. When you're deficient, which is common in men over 50, inflammation creeps in and testosterone metabolism becomes erratic, leading to enlargement and discomfort. Pumpkin seeds also contain phytosterols, compounds shown to shrink and enlarge prostate and improve urinary flow. I tell patients to use raw, unsalted seeds. Just a tablespoon is enough. Mix them right into your yogurt or eat them on the side. The texture is a nice contrast, and your body will thank you. And finally, the honey. Not a heaping spoonful, just a drizzle, ideally raw or wildflower honey. Why? Because honey has natural anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. It also gives a snack a touch of sweetness that keeps you from craving something worse, like cookies or processed snacks. I had a patient, James, 70, who said he always reached for a bowl of cereal at night, thinking it was light. But cereal, even the ones marketed as healthy, are loaded with sugar and quick-digesting carbs that spike insulin. Once he swapped it for yogurt, seeds, and a little honey, he noticed a dramatic drop in nighttime discomfort. This combination isn't magic. It's science, simplicity, and consistency. Eat it 1 to 2 hours before bed, not right before lying down. It gives your body time to absorb the nutrients and shift into repair mode as you sleep. The worst foods for your prostate before bed. Now, just as important as what to eat is knowing what not to eat before bed. This is where many men go wrong without realizing it. They grab a glass of milk, a banana, maybe even some leftovers, and then wonder why they wake up with pressure, pain, or the need to urinate 5 times a night. Let's start with milk. Many think it's soothing, but milk is inflammatory for a lot of people, especially as we age. It can cause bloating, stimulate mucus production, and raise insulin levels due to its natural sugars. All of these factors can contribute to prostate irritation, especially if you're already borderline sensitive. Then we have sweet fruits like bananas, grapes, or mangoes. Yes, they're natural, but they're also high in fructose, which gets processed in the liver and can lead to fat accumulation and insulin resistance. And again, elevated insulin levels are one of the root causes of fluid retention and prostate pressure. Next up, heavy, fatty meals. This includes meats, fried foods, pizza, or anything that takes a long time to digest. If your digestive system is working overtime while you sleep, blood flow is diverted away from healing processes, including the circulation around your prostate. Plus, you're more likely to feel heat, pressure, or even reflux that keeps you tossing and turning. I recall one patient, Vitaly, who loved to eat a real meal at 9 p.m., usually pasta or sausages. He couldn't understand why his prostate pain flared up every night. We made one change: dinner earlier, snack lighter, and by the second week, he said he was finally sleeping through the night again. Another one to avoid: caffeinated drinks late in the day. Coffee, tea, energy drinks. All of these can overstimulate the bladder and lead to nighttime urgency. Even if you fall asleep, you're more likely to wake up needing the bathroom. Combine that with an inflamed prostate, and you're in for a restless night. And finally, alcohol. Even just a glass of wine can trigger inflammation and fluid retention. Alcohol irritates the bladder, reduces deep sleep, and slows detox pathways in the liver, all of which compound prostate issues. If you want to heal, it's worth cutting back, especially in the evening. Why insulin control is the real key to nighttime prostate comfort. Let's talk about something most men don't connect to their prostate: insulin. You probably think of insulin only in terms of diabetes or blood sugar, but in reality, insulin plays a central role in inflammation, especially pelvic congestion and prostate swelling. Here's how it works. When you eat carbohydrate-heavy meals or sugary snacks, your body releases insulin to shuttle that sugar into your cells. But if this happens repeatedly, especially late in the evening, your insulin levels stay elevated. High insulin tells the body to store water, sodium, and fat, which leads to tissue swelling. Now, picture this happening in a tight, vascular region like the pelvis. The prostate, bladder, and surrounding tissues are packed together, and if even a little fluid builds up, pressure rises. You may feel it as heaviness, discomfort, or increased urgency to urinate, especially at night when you're lying down. I often use this analogy with patients. Elevated insulin before bed is like turning on a hose in a closed container. Pressure builds. But when you reduce insulin levels before sleep through smart evening nutrition, it's like turning off the hose and letting the water drain naturally. This is why the snack I recommended, yogurt, pumpkin seeds, and a bit of honey, works so well. It has very few fast-digesting carbs, no processed sugar, and actually blunts the insulin spike that heavier or sweeter snacks would cause. Instead of overloading your metabolism, it gives your body just enough to stay satisfied without waking up your prostate. And here's another layer. Stable insulin also improves testosterone regulation, which is critical for men's health. Insulin resistance is closely linked to lower testosterone and higher estrogen, both of which contribute to prostate growth. By keeping insulin in check at night, you're doing far more than just helping your bladder. You're restoring hormonal balance. So if you're dealing with chronic prostate discomfort or waking up 2 to 4 times a night, ask yourself, what am I eating after 6 p.m.? That question might hold the answer your prescriptions haven't yet solved. A real patient story. 6 weeks, no meds, no nighttime urgency. Let me tell you about Arthur, one of my long-term patients. He came to me at 67, retired, fairly active but visibly frustrated. I can't get through a single night without waking up at least 3 times to pee, he said. Sometimes more. And I've tried everything, even the pills. He meant tamsulosin, which only made him dizzy and even more tired. We started with a simple plan. I didn't give him supplements, and I didn't push another test. I asked him to keep a journal of everything he ate, especially after dinner. Within a few days, the pattern was obvious: toast with jam, banana, or sometimes even late-night pasta leftovers. All of it was pushing his insulin high right before sleep. I introduced the evening snack I've shared with you. He was skeptical. Yogurt and seeds? That's it. I said, that's it. And water an hour before bed. No fruit, no toast, and no milk at night. He committed. Within the first week, he reported waking only once. By the end of the 3rd week, he was sleeping through the night 4 days out of 7. By week 6, he was a different man. Doc, he said, I didn't realize how foggy I was until I started sleeping again. My legs feel stronger. I'm walking more. Even my mood is better. What changed? Just his evening behavior. No prescriptions, no drastic diets. Just food timing, food choice, and consistency. This is not an isolated story. I've seen dozens of men improve prostate symptoms by targeting the metabolic root causes, not just the symptoms. Medication has its place, but lifestyle, when done right, often works faster and lasts longer. What I appreciated most about Arthur's transformation wasn't just his bladder control. It was his confidence returning. He started planning morning walks again, took fewer naps, and felt sharper. It's a reminder that when you sleep better, your body performs better. Period. And it all started with 1 bowl of yogurt and seeds. How to make this routine stick? For good. Here's the truth. Any habit, even a good one, can fall apart if it feels complicated, restrictive, or disconnected from real life. That's why I tell patients, keep it simple, keep it real, and build it into a rhythm you actually enjoy. So, how do you make this evening routine last? First, set a cutoff time for heavy eating. I recommend having dinner by 6:30 or 7 p.m. and saving your light snack for 8:30 or so. Think of it not as eating again, but as giving your body a sleep signal. Second, make the snack something you look forward to. Use a nice bowl. Add cinnamon or nutmeg to the yogurt. Toast your pumpkin seeds lightly for extra flavor. A drizzle of honey adds just enough sweetness to feel satisfying, but not enough to spike your blood sugar. Third, treat this moment as part of your wind-down ritual, not just nutrition. Dim the lights, turn off screens, and focus on slowing your breath. Remember, insulin, cortisol, and inflammation all go hand in hand. Calming your nervous system helps everything, from digestion to hormone balance to deep sleep. Fourth, keep a small evening journal if you're someone who likes data. Track how many times you wake up, how your bladder feels, how you sleep. Patterns will emerge. You'll see what works for you and what doesn't. It's empowering, and it turns your healing into something you own. Fifth, if you travel or stay up late, don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. You can still do a modified version. A spoon of yogurt, a few seeds, and some water. The point is to avoid returning to those mindless snacks that cause more harm than help. Sixth, remember your why. Whether it's a sleep through the night, avoid medication, feel confident again, or simply move without pain, your reason matters. Post it where you can see it. Remind yourself that healing isn't about doing everything. It's about doing a few things right. And finally, share the habit. Tell your son, your brother, your friend. You might be surprised how many men are silently struggling with the same symptoms. And sometimes all it takes is a quiet voice or a bowl of yogurt to start the healing. Healing the prostate isn't just about shrinking a gland or easing discomfort. It's about reclaiming rest, dignity, control. It's about giving your body the tools to repair, naturally, gently, intelligently. One small change before sleep, a shift in rhythm, a better choice, a moment of care, can become the turning point between decline and recovery. It doesn't require perfect discipline, just consistency, curiosity, and a willingness to listen to your body's quiet signals. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't found in a bottle. It's found in what you choose to eat and when, especially when no one else is watching. But your body remembers.